Hello everybody, welcome back into the fort. My name is Tyler Saves Ya Bucks, and I am here to talk about a few cards from recent articles that I've released. My series Bulk Up is over on Commander's Herald, but it might be somewhere else very soon. I am not at liberty to say where it's going to be, but I will update the channel when I can. But for now, I'm talking about some of my favorite cards from Dragonstorm. These are going to, of course, be commons and uncommons, which is usually what bulk is. If you're like me, when you get a new pack of magic cards, you like to open it and skip right to the rare. And sometimes that stack of cards that you've fanned past sits in a box and you don't look at it for a very long time. But that's where I come in. Tyler Saves You Bucks is just that name because I am going through the bulk bins and I'm telling you, hey, you already own some of these cool cards. So now that we're learning some of those skills together, let's, when we open packs of this new set, go into it knowing what some of those cards that we would usually pass by are, and get excited whenever we pull something, not just if the rare and mythic and foil is the good card, but there's some hidden gems along the way. All that preamble, let's just start talking about some cool magic cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm. And we're going to start off with Sunset Strike Master. Now, in the last episode I did with Eshki, I realized I said a lot of cards wrong or close to wrong, and that will probably happen again. But Sunset Strike Master, it's one of the first-ish unrestricted red mana dorks. So a mana dork is a creature that taps for mana, obviously, but then at the same time, unrestricted is it can just do it. It doesn't have to tap for instants and sorceries or artifacts or whatever else. We used to have, well, not used to, we did have a card called Sisters of the Flame, which is very, very old. And that was an unrestricted mana dork. And then we also had a few others that kind of were close to that. But what this is a signpost for Wizards saying, hey, there's going to be creature-based mana moving forward for the color red. And that's very good because red in Commander, some people have been talking about, it's not as powerful as some other colors in the format. And a good way to do that is by giving synergistic mana to that color. And this one right here, having some burn removal on top of being able to tap for red, very, very good. So keep an eye out for it when you're opening your packs. Another spell that I just am in love with is Whale of War. Instant speed, you can get up to two creatures from your graveyard to your hand, which is very, very nice. In the right type of deck where a lot of your creatures will be dying or you're sacrificing them or whatever, this is kind of like 3 mana, draw the best 2 creatures you've played this game at instant speed. Very cool, but it also has the ability to give all the creatures your opponents control -1/-1. Now, in Commander, that's not really going to come up as much. However, every once in a blue moon, you're going to be able to blow out a token player's life. You know, somebody playing their Saprolings deck or elves and whatever else it could be, and they just have this whole big board, and it's like, what are we going to do? And you peel this off the top, and it's like, well, we're going to do something very interesting and use a mode that we almost never use. And I love when you get to do that in Commander, when you find a different use for a card that you don't normally do. So Whale of War, I just like it quite a lot. Another card that I wanted to talk about today that is going straight into my Shadric Silverquill deck, which is my favorite deck. It's on my Architect. Duty Beyond Death is a 2 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So this is a way to just turn a game, you know, rip victory out of the jaws of defeat. Somebody goes for that board wipe, one-sided or whatever it is that they think, okay, I'm going to win after this, or I'm going to set the game back to 0 so I can come back out on top, or however they go into it. And not only does that not happen, but all of your creatures stay and they're even bigger. Now you do have to get rid of one creature, but every once in a while you do just have like a random token sitting around or a creature with even a dies trigger that you're willing to get rid of to save the entirety of your board. I love this card a lot, and it being at uncommon means that it should stay at an okay price moving forward. Speaking of counters, something to use in conjunction with all these creatures you control with counters is Synchronized Charge, which is 2 mana for sorcery. You can put two 1/1 counters among up to. You can give some creatures counters, okay? I've had a long day today, and I'm trying to get a lot of cards packed into this video. But creatures you control with counters on them have Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. It also has Synchronize for 5 mana, which is one of the new mechanics. So you can tap one of your creatures to help cast this from the graveyard. This card could just end a game again out of nowhere for 2 mana. If you already run a bunch of counters in a deck, then it's basically giving your whole board just Vigilance and Trample. But if you need a way to buff up some creatures just to get them over the top of somebody's defenses, this is a way to do it as well. And the fact that they have Vigilance means that you'll attack out and be able to then just keep them back as blockers. And also it has the ability to cast it twice in one turn. It's the fact that you can cast it for 2 and then harmonize. Did I say synchronize before? No, the name of the card is synchronized. You see what I mean. Can you tell? I just finished writing another article right before this, and before that was work. So I'm here now, and I'm also wanting to watch the new Game Nights, which just came out the day I filmed this, but I want to talk about these cards with you more. But yeah, this is just a way to end games. Again, it's at uncommon, and having a few of them sitting around and you make a counters deck, don't, forget about these and get the dust off of those boxes when you need to close out some games with those decks. Fresh Start is a 2 mana removal spell for a creature. It has flash, it's an aura, and it gives the enchanted creature -5/-0, and it loses all abilities. I love these types of cards. The idea of locking down somebody's high value creature, specifically their commander, makes it harder for them to get the benefit out of it. And then with the commander, you almost want it to die so they can recast it without this on top of it. And that's what I like about this card, is it gives that power, it debuffs the power of whatever creature it's enchanting. And because of that, it makes it harder for people to get it killed. I forget, there's a few other ones out there. I think one that makes someone a legitimate business person, it makes them a 1/1, I believe. And the problem with that is it makes the creature very easy to kill. This is, you keep all of your toughness. You have a 5/5 commander, it's a 0/5 now. And now you can't really have it die in combat. You can't really attack at somebody and they want to block because it's not going to deal damage to them. So this card is just really cool. And for only 2 mana, that's not too bad of a rate. Going on to a card I just want to gush about real quick. It's Hardened Tactician, which is 1 white and a black. For a 2/4, it says 1, sacrifice a token, draw a card. Why I love this so much is because sacking any token that you have is just so broad and incredible. You can put this in creature-based token decks. You can put this in food decks. You can put this in treasure decks, clue decks, whatever. It can turn anything that you have just lying around into a free card for only 1 mana. Specifically talking about clues, it makes clues cheaper. Blood, you don't have to discard the card now. You just draw the card. It's just so good, and especially in this set where we got a lot of mobilize, making tokens that attack people that you sack at the end of turn. You attack, make, say, 2 tokens tapped and attacking. They survive combat, and you just pay 2 mana and draw 2 cards before they sack themselves. Or you attack with tokens and people block, and you're like, well, it's not going to kill any of your stuff, so I'll just sack the ones you blocked. I love this card. It is so good. So keep an eye out for it, because card draw in any rarity is always strong. Now, I have 2 here. I'm going to start with Bone Cairn Butcher. I'm interested in PDH. As I've gotten more into the budget building, a lot of people want me to try Pauper, and Pauper Commander is probably more up my route in terms of building. My brain is just so designed for Commander. But when it comes to PDH, these new creatures that we've gotten that are so many different colors that are at the uncommon rarity make it easier and easier to make some of these decks. And this first one, Bone Cairn Butcher, is very interesting to me, making your attacking tokens have Death Touch, having Mobilize, and then allowing you to have 3 colors is very strong. And by the way, if you're a little confused why I'm talking about this uncommon creature as a possible commander, is because in PDH, any uncommon creature can be your commander, not just legendary. And that's something that is very exciting to me, that this thing here can be your commander. I just love that idea. So if you know more about PDH, please let me know in the comments, because the other card I want to talk about is Kiru Goldkeeper, which again gives you 3 colors. It makes you treasures when stuff leave your graveyard. And if you put it into your graveyard instead of the command zone, you can renew it and make another creature bigger with flying and stuff. So both of these are so cool, and I'm just kind of interested in learning more about the format. And I want to hear what you guys, if you don't have one already, which one of these 2, Bone Cairn or the Kiru Goldkeeper, which one would you choose to be your PDH commander? Or maybe it's something completely different. You know, actually, the Hardened Tactician could be your PDH commander. So, yeah, let me know. I'm interested in the format. I just don't know exactly where to start when it comes to it. So I hope to hear from you soon. And then this is just a final PSA. If you are cracking a bunch of packs open for this set, be on the lookout for Tempest Hawk. This is another one of those creatures that says a deck can have any number of cards named blank. So we recently had Heir Apparents, there's Persistent Petitioners, Shadowborn Apostles. There's a bunch of creatures that have that text. And anytime a card has that text, doesn't matter which rarity it is, like that, this is a common, it rises in price. I think I saw Heir Apparent is hovering around $3 to $4 right now. Tempest Hawk is around $3, but it might rise over time. And I do like the design of this. The fact that you hit someone, you go find another one, and say you cast that one, the next turn you hit someone with 2, find 2, and they keep multiplying over and over again. And it always kind of gives you something to do with your mana. Very cool. I have a draft that I'm hosting for Dragonstorm this weekend, and I'm kind of hoping to do the Tempest Hawk strat. I don't think it'll happen in a draft, but it would be kind of crazy if I just somehow snatch up all the Tempest Hawks and make a 40 card deck where I'm just doing that every single turn. So, but yeah, that is it for this episode. This set is incredible. I wrote about so many other cards, by the way. So you should check out those articles. And like I said, I will have some news about Bulk Up, as well as my Pillow 14 for Under 14 article series very soon. But in the meantime, I hope you have some fun braving the Dragonstorm and looking at all those cool commons and uncommons with me. So I will see you next time here in the fort. Goodbye.